state of Israel is not Hamas, not even the Iranian nuclear plant. It's the American dependence on imported oil. When the day comes that the American politicians have to choose between having enough oil for American people to get to work, the state of Israel is going to be a very sad day for America and a very sad day for Israel. I think that the Israeli government and most Jewish organizations have grossly underestimated the threat that all this money, a huge portion of the wealth of the whole world, pouring into the hands of nations that hate us. And I still remember vividly a conversation with George Bundy that I had many years ago. He was President Kennedy and President Johnson's security advisor. And he said, Dave, no matter who's in that White House, whether they're Republican, Democrat, friend of Israel, or whatnot, they are going to be greatly influenced by the need to be nice to Saudi Arabia because of our dependence on them, not only for oil supply, but they have the spigot. They can make it short or make it plentiful, and that is a powerful influence. That influence then was about 10 or 15%. We are now importing 2/3 of the fuel that we get to work on from nations that hate us. And if this is not a clear and present danger, I don't know what is. And I don't really, the purpose of my book, my talk, is to raise the bar. We've got to recognize that it's not only the state of Israel, but it is the whole planet that is in peril over our dependence on fuels that are plain and out poison. Let's just get very real. The fuel that we burn in our car is poisonous. We went gaga over a little bit of lead in the toys at Christmas time, and we should have. But we've got complacent about the fact that we're burning oil on the city streets in all the cities in our country. We have an epidemic of asthma in Los Angeles. People's lives are shortened by the quality of the air. You don't even have to get to the global warming issue to realize that we are a civilization of very smart idiots. Because our lives are run on poison, and the worst of the fossil fuels we don't see anymore, which is coal. 46% of the electricity that is used in Los Angeles, I know I used to run that department, comes from coal in Utah. Los Angeles is the largest taxpayer in Utah. And coal has 4 times as much carbon per kilowatt hour as natural gas. You don't have to believe that global warming is for real. You just have to be a business person and recognize that it is a risk. And it's a risk that you've got to take an insurance policy against it. And the insurance policy is getting off the poison. So we have oil and coal. And now, rising up from a market-driven grade comes these nuclear dusts. I mean, in an age of terror, does it even make sense to discuss building nuclear power plants? I mean, come on. Thank God the state of Israel didn't go down that road. They were thinking of in the 70s. I was over there, among other people, to talk them out of it. These are Trojan horses in our own midst. Missiles and things like that can penetrate. We have a super abundant source of energy coming to this earth from the sun, the wind, and growing trees. This is the huge source of energy, and it is renewable and everlasting. We have just been lulled by most of the money in the world, which is the oil companies, the coal companies, the nuclear companies. Remember, General Electric owns NBC. Why do you think Tim Russert is talking about nuclear power plants in his program? Because the company that owns NBC makes the stuff. I think that it's all well and good to take an interest in this issue, but what this nation needs is the mother of all coalitions. I mean, here there are more and more people concerned about the environment, and the answer to their concerns is renewable energy used efficiently. There are more and more people concerned about our dependence on imported oil. The answer is renewable energy used efficiently. there are more and more people that ought to be concerned about our continued advocacy of using nuclear power, because, frankly, how can we, with a straight face, tell Iran that they can't build a nuclear power plant while the President of the United States goes around promoting stuff and promoting reprocessing of the fuel, so you have plutonium flying around and somebody can steal and blow us clear to hell with that. You know, it's time that we let common sense have one seat at the energy table, and that is that everything new from this day forward needs to be renewable and it needs to be used efficient. Now, with oil, we have a technology that's virtually here, a plug-in hybrid car. If 1 million people in this country went down to the showrooms and said to the dealers, I'm not going to buy another damn car until you can supply me with a plug-in hybrid, then Detroit would listen. They've got enough lobbying power to stop the Congress, but they do pay attention to these things. We have got to get people to understand that this is a life or death matter. That the problem with oil is not just that we're spending $1 billion a day that hate us, not just that we're causing epidemics of asthma and lung disease and burning it. It's the fact that it is our foreign policy. It is our foreign policy. And it is tying our hands so that a foreign policy that truly backs Israel is inhibited by the fact that we've got to, at the same time, please Saudi Arabia. The day that America starts using less and less oil is the first day of freedom. Then the Saudis and the Iranians will have to start worrying about selling their oil. And believe me, if America were to set that example, China and India and everyone else would follow. I mean, they are following our example today by building coal-fired plants and using petroleum. This is really serious. I mean, these are issues we've been talking about for 30 years, but we've got to really focus on the fact that it's a life or death matter, and halfway measures won't work. Now, Al Gore has done a good job of persuading people about the problem with global warming. I think many of the security people have done a good job of persuading people about the problem of national security. But we don't have any answers on the table that are commensurate with the problem. For every dollar's worth of problem, there's a nickel's worth of answer. I mean, what the hell good is some long-winded carbon tax or cap and trade system or all this mishigashin that really don't have any impact in 08 and 09. We've got to start moving in the direction of using the sun and the wind. And the plug-in hybrid is the one example of where you can have motor vehicles, and it can be every motor vehicle. It doesn't have to just be the small ones. And you can run on electricity the first 20, 30, 40 miles. Electricity is made more and more from renewable energy sources, and it's used mainly at night. We could power millions of cars with today's power plants. I used to run these because they don't have much business at night, and you can charge the batteries at night. It fits perfectly with the electric system, and in fact would end up utilizing the electric system more of the time and probably even reduce the price for everyone. And the beautiful thing about electricity and electric motors is that it's highly efficient. Electric motors are 98% efficient. Your internal combustion engine is about 40% efficient. Let me put it this way. If you had a plug-in hybrid, the electricity you pay for would be the equivalent of, guess what, less than $1 a gallon of gasoline. So here is a technology that will not only dramatically reduce our use of oil, but will lower the cost, and the money will stay in America.